Yes, very good afternoon, students. Today I am going to explain the last topic in the second unit, that is cathodic protection. But before going to see the cathodic protection, just let us recall what is meant by the corrosion and where the corrosion is takes place. Corrosion is nothing but it is the decomposition of the metal with unwanted impurities in the environment or destruction of the metal when the metal is exposed to the electrolyte or the unwanted impurities. That is meant by the corrosion. But where the corrosion takes place, the corrosion generally takes place at anode and the cathodic part is protecting from the corrosion. So our aim in the cathodic protection is we are forcibly converting the base metal as the cathode. So when the metal is anode, there is a corrosion, but when the metal is converted to the cathode, there is no corrosion. So what we are doing in the cathodic protection is forcibly we are converting the base metal as the cathode either by coating with a cathodic metal or the anode is converted to the cathode by applying the external current. That is mean by the cathodic protection. So we are converting the base metal as the cathode in the cathodic protection to prevent the base metal from the corrosion. That is the cathodic protection. So we are having the two techniques for the cathodic protection. One is the sacrificial anodic protection and the impressed current cathodic protection. So let us see one by one what is mean by the sacrificial anodic protection and the impressed current cathodic protection. Sacrificial anodic protection, in the usual application, a galvanic anode, a piece of a more electrochemically active metal attached to the vulnerable metal surface where it is exposed to the corrosive liquid. So whatever the metal we want to be protect, that metal is coating with the highly active metal. So you know what is a highly active metal? The metal which is in the top position in electrochemical series is acting as the anode and that is the highly active metal. So we are going to be protect the base metal with highly active metal. So when the base metal is coating with the highly active metal, the base metal is acting as the cathode and highly active metal is acting as the anode over there. But we know when the anode and cathode are exposed to the environment, the anodic metal is going to be undergo corrosion and the cathodic metal is going to be protected from the corrosion. So what we are doing in sacrificial anodic protection, we are connecting the base metal with highly active metal with the help of wires. So when we are connecting with the help of wires, the anodic metal or highly active metal is undergo corrosion, whereas the base metal is acting as a cathode and going to be protected from the corrosion. So here galvanic anodes have more active voltage that the target material usually steel. So generally we are protecting the steel materials. So steel material is acting as the base metal here. So the base metal is converting to cathode by coating with the highly active metal. So here steel is coating with the highly active metal or steel is connecting to the highly active metal. So here some of the highly active metals are for effective cathodic protection, the potential of the steel surface is polarized and more negative until the surface of a uniform potential. So generally we are coating or connecting the steel pipes with zinc, aluminium and magnesium. These are used as the anode. These are highly active metals compared to the steel because these are a top position in electrochemical series. So these are highly active metals. So these are going to be acting as the anode when these are connecting with the steel. So for increasing electrical contact, the active metal is placed in the black fill. So here to increase the electrical contact, what we are doing, we are placing the active metal. So here what is the active metal here? The metal which is going to be connecting with the anode, that anode is acting as a highly active metal. That highly active metal is placed in the black film. So when we are placing in the black field, it is releasing the current. That current is called the corrosion current, that we will see in the next slide. So in sacrificial anodic protection, simply what we are doing, we are connecting the steel pipes with highly active metals, and here highly active metals are acting as the anode and the steel pipes are acting as the cathode. So like that we are going to be protect the steel pipes. So especially the sacrificial anodic protection is used in the ship hulls and the buried pipelines. So we know that the buried pipeline is continuously exposing to the moisture in underground, and even the ship hulls also continuously moving in the water. So that means it is direct contact with the water. So to protect the ship hulls, that means the bottom of the ships are the buried pipelines, we are using the sacrificial anodic protection. So just let us assume this is the buried pipeline or the underground pipeline. So we know the underground pipelines are made of the iron or the steel. So this is going to be protected by connecting with the sacrificial anode. So here sacrificial anode is a highly active metal with the help of wires. So this is the wire. So when these two metals are exposing to the environment, you know the bimetallic corrosion. In bimetallic corrosion, when two dissimilar metals are exposing to the environment, the metal which is highly active undergo corrosion, the metal which is less active protected from the corrosion. So what we are doing here, these two metals are exposing to the environment. Now this metal is highly active metal, and now the buried pipeline is a less active metal. Now it is acting as the cathode and it is acting as the anode. So it is undergo corrosion and it is going to be protected from the corrosion. So that is sacrificial anodic protection. So now let us see the next cathodic protection, that is impressed current cathodic protection. Especially impressed current cathodic protection is using in for largest structures. For largest structures, galvanic anodes cannot economically deliver enough current to provide complete protection. So we know that it is giving the it is giving the current when we are placing in the black fields. So when but that current is not sufficient in the impressed current cathodic protection in the largest structures. So for larger structures, we can't use the sacrificial anodic protection. So instead of sacrificial anodic protection, we are going to use the impressed current cathodic protection for the largest structures. So for larger structures, galvanic anodes cannot economically deliver enough current to provide complete protection. So in this method, an impressed current is applied in opposite direction to nullify the corrosion current and convert the corroding metal from anode to cathode. So we know that where the corrosion takes place, generally corrosion takes place at anode. So what we are going to use, what we are going to do in impressed current cathodic protection is, we are converting anode to cathode. So when we are converting anode to cathode, there is no corrosion at the base metal. So how we are converting anodic metal to cathodic metal? We are applying more than corrosion current in the opposite direction. I will explain with diagrammatically. So this is the diagram. See here. So this is the buried pipeline and this is the impressed current anode. So this is impressed current anode. This is not galvanic anode or sacrificial anode. So now this impressed current anode is connecting with the buried pipeline, and these two are connecting with the help of DC power. So we are using the direct contact, direct current here. So we are connecting these two with the DC power. So we know that this metal is undergo corrosion and this metal is going to be protected from the corrosion. Yes, but previously it is not the anode, this is cathode and this is anode initially. Initially it is anode and it is cathode. But what is our aim? We want to convert anode to cathode and cathode to anode. So what we are doing? We are converting anode to cathode and cathode to anode. But how we are converting anode to cathode? Initially, the current is passing from anode to cathode. That means electrons are transferred from anode to cathode. But when the electrons are transferred from anode to cathode, there is releasing the current. That current is called the corrosion current. So what we are doing? We are applying more than corrosion current in the opposite direction. So we are applying more than corrosion current in this direction. So when we are applying more than corrosion current in the opposite direction, anode will be converts to cathode and cathode is converts to anode. That means previously it was anode, this is converts to cathode, and this cathode is converts to anode, that is impressed current anode. So this anode, that is impressed current anode, is placing in the black fields or in the inert metals. So when we are placing in the inert metals, inert is nothing but the metal which is not reacting with the environment. So when we are placing in the inert metal, this metal is going to be protected because it is converts to the cathode. And when it is converts to inert metal also not reacting with the environment, and this metal also going to be protect in the impressed current cathodic protection. So in this method, an impressed current is applied in opposite direction to nullify the corrosion current and convert the corroding metal from anode to cathode. So in impressed current cathodic protection systems, use anodes connected to a direct current source. So we have seen now, we are connecting the two metals with the help of the direct current, that is the battery here. And this current is given to insoluble anode like a graphite, stainless steel or scrap iron buried in soil. So where we are placing here, that is the insoluble anode like graphite, stainless steel and the scrap iron and buried in soil. So these are placing in the soil and it is acting as the anode previously in the underground. And this anode is going to be converts to the cathode. And now the negative terminal of DC is connected to a pipeline to be protected. The anode is kept in backfill to increase the electrical contact with the surrounding soil. So generally we are placing this anode in the backfill. So when we are placing in the backfill, it is increasing the electrical contact. So when the electrical contact is increasing here, the corrosion current also more in this, and even the impressed current also more when we are placing in the backfill. So this is another diagram. Impressed current cathodic protection. So this is the buried pipeline. This is the steel and this steel is underground. And now this is anode. This is anode and this is acting as the cathode. Now these two are connecting with the help of the battery. Now the current is flowing from anode to cathode. So see here, this is the power supply. So when this is going from this to this, it is nullifying the corrosion current. So here anode is converts to cathode and cathode is converts to anode here. So now let us see where we are using the impressed current cathodic protection and sacrificial anodic protection. We have seen where we are using the sacrificial anodic protection method. So impressed current cathodic protection applied on steel in seawater or soil, oil platforms in steel and concrete, subsea pipelines, ship hulls, quarry structures and sheet pile curtains, concrete bridges, pipelines buried in soil, vessel or tanks buried in the soil. So in all these cases, we are using the impressed current cathodic protection. So now let us see what are the advantages and the disadvantages of impressed current cathodic protection and the sacrificial anodic protection. high driving voltage up to 30 voltage, and few anodes reduced resistance. Only few anodes are reducing the resistance here. So those are the inert anodes or insoluble anodes that we have seen in the impressed current cathodic protection. Now let us see what are the disadvantages. Vulnerable components, need for regulation or control systems, risk of overprotection of highly charged materials, coating damages, cathodic accompaniments, and need for recommended protection shield around the anodes, need for maintenance. So these are the disadvantages of the impressed current cathodic protections. So now let us see the differences between the sacrificial anodic protection and the impressed current cathodic protection. External power supply is not required in sacrificial anodic protection, but whereas in impressed current cathodic protection, we are supplying the power from externally. So external power supply is required in the impressed current cathodic protection. The cost investment is low in the sacrificial anodic protection, but whereas investment is more in the impressed current cathodic protection. This requires periodic replacement of sacrificial anode. That means after complete corrosion of the sacrificial anode, we can replace with a new sacrificial anode. But whereas in the impressed current cathodic protection, there is no replacement. So we can't replace the other metal in the impressed current cathodic protection. This is the most economical method, especially when short-term protection is required. So especially it is useful for short term, but it is useful for the long term process. This is a suitable method when the current requirement and the resistivity of the electrolyte is low. But here it is suitable when the electrical and resistivity is high, where the current requirement and the resistivity is more. There we can use the impressed current cathodic protection. So these are the differences between the sacrificial anodic protection and the impressed current cathodic protection. So now let us see the last topic, that is the surface coatings. So there are two types of coatings. One is the anodic coating and another one is the cathodic coating. This comes under the metallic coating. So metallic coating is nothing but coating of one metal on the another metal is nothing but the metallic coating. So there are two types of metallic coatings. One is the anodic coating and another one is the cathodic coating. Anodic coating is nothing but the coating of the metal with highly active metal. So when the metal is coating with highly active metal will be acting as the anode here. So that is anodic coating. In this, the base metal, what is meant by the base metal here? The base metal is nothing but the metal which is going to be protected is nothing but the base metal. So in this, the base metal is coated with a more reactive metal. More reactive metal is nothing but the metal which is in the top position in electrochemical series. So more reactive metal, so that the coating metal behaves as the anode and undergoes corrosion in preference to the base metal. So that means compared to the base metal, the other metal is highly active metal. So it is acting as the anode and the base metal is acting as the cathode. So the top metal in electrochemical series is undergo corrosion and the base metal is going to be protected from the corrosion. So for example, coating of zinc on iron. So here zinc is coating on the iron. That means iron is acting as a base metal and zinc is acting as the coating metal which is highly active metal. So zinc is anode and iron is acting as a cathode here. So zinc is undergo corrosion and iron is going to be protected from the corrosion. So here the advantage of anodic coating is that if any scratch or pore appears on the coating metal, then the galvanic cell is formed between the coating metal and the base metal. So assume here the base metal is coated with another metal and here coating metal is acting as the anode and the base metal is acting as the cathode. So just let us assume the coating is having any cracks or the pores. If the coating is having any cracks or the pores, which metal is directly, the top metal is anode and the base metal is cathode here. So when the top metal is having the cracks or the pores, even the base metal also directly exposing to the environment. That means the cathode is exposing to the environment. But we know when the cathode is exposing to the environment, is there any corrosion? There is no corrosion. That means the base metal never undergoes corrosion, but only the coating metal is undergo corrosion in anodic coating. If the base metal, if the coating metal is having any cracks or the pores. So the rate of corrosion is lowered comparatively because the area of anode is much larger as compared to the area of the cathode, because the anode is going to be exposed to the environment, but cathode is not exposing to the environment here. So the exposed part is more, so that part only undergo corrosion, but the unexposed part is going to be protected from the corrosion. That is anodic coating. So in simple method, we know what is anodic coating here. So simply we can say what is mean by the cathodic coating also. Cathodic coating is nothing but coating of metal with less active metal. So here the less active metal is acting as the cathode here, and the base metal is acting as the anode. So protects the base metal. If the coating metal develops a crack or develops pores, then the base metal being more reactive will undergo corrosion. So same like the anodic coatings, even in cathodic coatings also, if the coating metal is having any cracks or the pores. If the metal is having any cracks or pores, here there develops a galvanic cell. So now the both metals are exposing to the environment, but here the base metal is acting as the anode. But exposed metal, that means the top metal is the less active metal, it is not undergo corrosion, but the base metal is undergo corrosion if the coating metal is having any pores or the cracks. So the rate of corrosion here is high because the anodic area is small and the cathodic area is larger, because cathode only exposing to the environment and anode is not exposing to the environment if the cathodic part is not having any cracks or the pores. So the cathodic area is large and anodic area is small, so the rate of corrosion is more. Corrosion is less, but rate of corrosion is more. Therefore, such coatings are effective only when the coating is continuous and free from pits and the cracks. So, the cathodic coating is preferable when the coating metal is free from the cracks and the pits. Then only cathodic coating is preferable. So that is anodic coating and the cathodic coating. In anodic coating, the base metal is coating with highly active metal, but in cathodic coating, the base metal is coating with less active metal. So the next one, the methods of applications of metallic coating. So we are having the various metals. These are the metallic coatings. One is the hard dipping process and the electroplating. So these are also called as the corrosion control techniques. So we know various corrosion control techniques, applying the paints, even applying paints also one of the metallic coating, but it is not part of our syllabus. In our syllabus, we are having only the hard dipping process. There are various metallic coatings, but out of various process, two are the best metallic coatings. One is the hard dipping process and the electroplating. So let us see the hard dipping process. In this metal, the base metal is immersed in a bath of molten metal. So what we are doing here, we are coating high melting metal on the low melting metal. So here the base metal is a low melting metal and the coating metal is high melting metal. That means the coating metal is easily melting, but whereas the base metal is not melting easily. So the coating metal is having the low melting point and the base metal is having the high melting point. So high melting point metal is the base metal, low melting point metal is the coating metal. So coating of low melting point metal on high melting point metal is called the hot dipping process. So when the coating metal is having the low melting point, it is easily converts to the liquid. But the base metal is having the high melting point, so it is not converts to the liquid. So what we are doing here, the base metal is dipping in the low melting point metal. That means initially the low melting point metal is heating and converts to the liquid. And the high melting point metal is dipping in the low melting point metal. And like that we are coating the base metal with coating metal. That is a hard dipping process. So in this method, the base metal is immersed in a bath of a molten metal covered by a molten flux. The flux cleans the base metal and prevents oxidation of molten coating metal. So the common methods of hard dipping process are galvanizing process and the tinning method. So this you can understand better in the next slide. So what is the molten flux? What is the oxidation process? Yes, so that we will see in the diagram. So let us see what is the hot dipping process. So the process of coating iron and steel articles with a thin coat of zinc. So here the base metal is iron or the steel, and whereas the coating metal is the zinc. Zinc is having the low melting point and whereas iron and steel is having the high melting point. So coating of iron and steel with a coating of zinc to prevent them from rusting is called the galvanization process. So for this, the article to be coated is first cleaned with dilute sulfuric acid, because initially maybe the metal is having any impurities. So if we coat the impure metal, the rust is forming inside. So initially the base metal must be clean. The surface of the base metal must be clean. So to clean that surface of the base metal, initially it is cleaning with the dilute sulfuric acid. So this sulfuric acid concentration is around 7 to 8%. After cleaning with the dilute sulfuric acid for about 15 to 20 minutes at 60 to 90 degrees centigrade. So this process is called, so the cleaning of base metal with sulfuric acid is called the acid pickling process. Here acid pickling is nothing but cleaning with acid. Washing with acid or cleaning with acid is called the acid pickling process. So here pickling is removing dust, rust, scale and oxide layer and other impurities. So it is removing, the acid pickling process is removing the dust particles, scales, you know what is mean by the scales, oxide layers and other impurities on the surface of the base metal. Now it is then followed by preliminary treatment in which the article is treated with 5% hydrofluoric acid to dissolve sand particles on the surface of the article. So if any sand particles still present on the surface of the base metal, these sand particles are removing by using hydrofluoric acid. So the scales are removing. The scales are nothing but the hard precipitates which are strongly sticking to the base metal. That is meant by the scale. But this is not removing the sand particles by using the sulfuric acid. So the sand particles are removing by using the hydrofluoric acid. So initially what we are doing, initially the surface of the base metal is cleaning with the sulfuric acid, that is the acid pickling process, and after acid pickling process the base metal is cleaning with 5% hydrofluoric acid. So now the base metal is the pure metal, that means which is free from the dust particles, and the unwanted impurities. So now the article is then washed, dried and dipped in the molten solution of zinc. So what we are doing here, now we got the purified metal, that means the metal which is free from the dust particles. So we got the pure metal. Now this metal is coating with the zinc. But we know that the coating metal is having the low melting metal, and this coating metal is converts to the molten solution. So initially we cleaned with the sulfuric acid and hydrofluoric acid. Afterwards the metal is cleaning with the water and drying, and immediately it is dipping in the molten solution of zinc. Molten solution is nothing but the paste form. So we are dipping in the molten solution of zinc. And when we are dipping the base metal in the molten solution of zinc, we are maintaining the temperature around 425 to 430 degrees centigrade. Now the surface at the bath is covered with a flux of ammonium chloride. So wherever we are taking the zinc solution, so wherever the container, we are taking the zinc solution, that container is covered with the ammonium chloride flux. So this flux is useful to prevent the formation of oxide. That means the ammonium chloride flux is preventing the further oxidation of the surface metal. So that means the surface metal should not react with oxygen in the environment. So to prevent that oxide layer, ammonium chloride flux is useful. So now the article is coated with the zinc layer, is taken out and passed through the rollers to remove excess zinc and produce thin film of uniform thickness. So when we are dipping in the zinc solution, maybe the excess of zinc is coating on the surface of the iron. So to remove the excess zinc, immediately we are passing through the rollers. So these rollers are removing the excess zinc on the surface of the iron. So finally, it is cooling by the annealing process. Annealing process is nothing but slowly cooling. So when we are slowly cooling at 650 degrees centigrade temperature, the base metal is strongly coating with the coating metal. That means zinc is strongly sticking on the surface of the base metal. So that is galvanization process. So what we have done initially the base metal is cleaning with the sulfuric acid, and then it is washing with the hydrofluoric acid and cleaning with the water and drying and dipping in the molten solution of zinc at 425 to 430 degrees centigrade, and this zinc container is covered with the ammonium chloride flux to prevent further oxidation. But when the base metal is dipping in the zinc solution, maybe the base metal is coated with the excess amount of zinc. So to remove the excess amount of zinc, the base metal is passing through the rollers. And finally, the metal is subjected to the annealing process at 650 degrees centigrade temperature. So when we are cooling this, the base metal is strongly sticking with the zinc metal. So this is the diagram. See here, initially it is cleaning with the sulfuric acid, then washing with hydrofluoric acid and water, and then drying in the drying chamber, and then it is dipping in the molten solution of zinc. Zinc container is covered with the ammonium chloride flux to prevent further oxidation, and then it is placing in between the rollers to remove the excess zinc, and finally sending to the annealing chamber. In annealing chamber, we will get the galvanized sheet. Galvanized sheet is nothing but the sheet which is coating with the zinc. That means the iron which is coating with the zinc is nothing but the galvanized sheet here. So this is galvanization process. Coating of low melting point metal on high melting point metal is called the galvanization process. Anodic coating means coating of anode on the base metal. Cathodic coating means coating of cathode on the base metal. That is anodic coating and the cathodic coating. Thank you so much.